Well, hello there. Welcome back to another Pokemon Master Datamine analysis video. This is going to be analysis of the late November 2023 stuff for Pokemon Masters. Indeed. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I thought I'd do one today just because, a few reasons. But if I get into the reasons, I'll be spoiling. So, spoiler alert, if you don't want to be spoiled on future content that will be released around December of 2023, leave. I didn't want to spoil it for you guys. I hate spoilers myself, so I want to keep that note. But if you're sticking around, that means you don't care or you already know. So let's get into it, right? So again, I haven't done a data mine analysis video in a long time because the last 2 months, I think the last one there was like Akari, Ray, and then I should say 2 months ago it was like Akari, Ray from Legends of Arceus and a few other characters. And then last month, the month that we're currently in, November 2023, there was a bunch of EV stuff, which is pretty cool. We got Penny into the game. We got Roxy and Pierce with their toxicities. So yeah, pretty fun stuff happening. But I wasn't really interested in any of those stuff, and I was kind of pooped out for anniversary data mine because that anniversary data mine video, it took a lot out of me because I made 2 videos and it was a whole lot of characters that just got released, and so that one definitely took a while. But today we are going to be talking about this month because one, there isn't that many characters to talk about, which is good. And funny enough, 2, the sync grid, the website that I usually use for sync grid is not, they don't have the sync grids for the character, so I can't actually look at the sync grids. I mean, we can't look at the sync grids on the bottom of the page here. So I will be talking about a little bit of the sync grid tiles, but I won't really be talking about sync grid builds. That's not something that I can do right now, but I'm sure it will be released soon, right? But I'm not gonna really worry about sync grid examples of stuff. I would just talk about good tiles. Indeed. So this month we're getting Neo Champion Nate. Oh my gosh, Nate actually got an alt. I know a lot of people were interested in Nate getting an alt because he's one of the Unovan main characters that hasn't gotten much attention or love. He was released pretty late into the game's lifespan, as well as being the last main character to have an alt. Last month we had Elio and Celine both getting alts. Not exactly outfit alts, so I wouldn't really count Celine, Elio. Also, Victor hasn't really gotten a outfit alt. Those are the alts that actually matter in my opinion, because when Zinnia got her second character release, it was not an outfit alt, and so it wasn't as exciting as when we get an outfit. So anyways, Nate's getting an outfit. That's sick. Well, there's also Rosa. It hasn't really been released, but Rosa has been data mined, and so we know that there's going to be Neo Champion Rosa, which is pretty cool. And then we got Viola and Sycamore as our 2023 Winter Sync pairs. That's very exciting. Winter seasonal sync pairs. That's very cool. And then we're getting Jasmine as our Jasmine as our trainer launch. Alright, so let's quickly go talk about these characters. So Nate, Neo Champion Nate actually getting an alt. What is this? Roll is strike, EX roll is field. Now I'm actually unsure what the field effect is. So I will get to it, but I'm unsure what that exactly goes towards. But again, I'll talk about that. He's using Haxorus. Unova Pride. He's a master sync pair because it's a master. It's a what's it? Master Neo Champion are always master pairs. So this one is a master passive that has to do with physical. So you do more physical damage, you block more physical moves or take less physical damage. Similar to, I think, Lyra, Signa Suit, Signa Suit, Lyra, and a few other characters same way. Strategy: focus on attack. Raise the user's attack by 6 when you use a trainer move. Also increases physical attack up next effect when you use a trainer move. So yeah, when you use a trainer move, you raise your attack all the way at max. Keep in mind they also have P move and S move crit. P move I think is normal moves and S move is sync moves. I don't know what P stands for, but basically whenever you use a move, it will crit. It will always crit. Doesn't include Dynamax moves, but this Pokemon doesn't Dynamax. But you know what I mean, right? Dynamax move is not included in this, which is a bit strange. But anyways, yeah, so this Pokemon, use one trainer move, boom, attack max. You always crit because of a passive, so super easy to set. You don't even need to set this Pokemon up. This Pokemon just sets itself up. Super nice. And then better than Opportunity, raises MP of Buddy move after you use a Sync move, after your team uses a Sync move. And it also increases a special move up when your team uses a Sync move. And so, let's check out what this Buddy move is. It's very interesting, right? This Buddy move. Look at the stats. Nothing really special about the stats. Really high speed, but I don't really think that makes much of a difference. I mean, it's nice to have good speed because this is going to be more of a... It's a good Pokemon to have a lot of speed, is all I'm saying. Let's look at the Buddy move. The Buddy move is dark black outrage activation when attack is raised. Okay? So, how do you raise attack? Okay, before we even get into the Buddy move, how do you raise attack? Well, you have to use a trainer move. What trainer move? I think there are two trainer moves here. I want to say that Unova, Passion, and Glory of the Challenge are both trainer moves. I'm assuming that both of them will work to trigger this a 6 buff and attack. But you'd probably want to use Glory of the Challenge first. So you use Glory of the Challenge, boom, you raise your attack by 6. And Glory of Challenge returns your stats to normal. That's not really relevant in my opinion. And it raises the use speed by 3. That's really relevant, as you'll see later. And then raise the free move next effect, which is super good. So now you have a free move. Now you have full attack. Now you can always crit. Now you can use Dark Black Outrage because your activation condition has been fulfilled. And this move, it does 250 damage. So this is a move that does a lot of damage. Keep in mind, it only hits one opponent. It never misses, and it reduces Sync move countdown by 1. Hey, having your Sync move countdown go by 1 is pretty good. So you're seeing the vision, right? You use Glory of the Challenge, right? You get your free move. You're going to use a Dark Black Outrage, and then it's just going to do a lot of damage. Keep in mind that you will also have the physical up next effect from this passive here, the strategy focus on attack. And then this Pokemon is very special because it has a new type of move field effect. So Unova Passion increases the physical move up next effect once again. You see this Pokemon has a lot of it. And then it applies the Unova Circle physical to the ally field. Basically, Unova Circle, what it does is it makes it so that your team does increase physical damage and increase physical move damage and also sync move damage, and it also reduces the amount of physical damage you take. And then the more Unova sync pairs you have, or I guess the more Unova themes, basically Unova sync pairs you have, the stat multiplies. So you do more damage, you do more physical damage, and you resist more physical moves. So it's very similar to the master passives. Like a lot of or I should say every master sync pair, even though once you get for free with battle points, they all have passives that increase attack and increase like physical or special attack and resist depending on like themes and your Pokemon's type. So this is really good. This is basically just another layer of buffs with the Master Passes. Master Passes have always been really good. So if you can sneak them in, that's what makes Master Sync Pair so strong for endgame, especially since you get that extra stat line does matter. You doing more damage and you resisting more damage is really good. So this Unova patch is really interesting. Obviously it buffs Haxorus himself because he is physical. But I'm trying to think of other case scenarios in which this is good. This is always going to be relevant, don't get me wrong, because you're always going to have this field effect which does more physical damage. I'm pretty sure this applies to everybody, not just Unova Sync Pair. So as long as you have him, you're getting the Unova Pride Master passive, and you're also getting the Unova Passion field effect. And so you're getting a lot of buffs, which makes Haxorus kind of like a generalized support unit. You can generally use him as a support unit. And keep in mind that his moves are pretty cheap. So Glory of Challenge is free. It then makes Dark Black Outrage free. And then you can use the Unova Passion for 2 move gauges, right? So it's pretty interesting what this character can do. The last move is Scale Shot. I think Scale Shot is kind of worthless. in my opinion, because it's a new move in the newest games, and you attack 2 to 5 times, it can raise your speed and lower your defense amount of times you hit, I believe. Doesn't do that much damage. The accuracy is 9 apparently, so you're never gonna hit it. I think it's supposed to say 90 or 95. I'm not sure if it's 90. I'm not sure if it's 95, but whatever, right? And so yeah, it's not really good. Raising speed isn't really important because if you use Glory for the challenge twice, you will be fully raising your speed anyways. And lowering defense is a bit of a bother. That being said, that you do have a good defense buff from the Unova Passion and from Unova Pride passive. So you will have pretty decent physical defense, but keep in mind it does lower your defense. So I don't really think that's a good move. So yeah, that's the vision. That's the vision. If you guys see it, so you use the Glory of the Challenge, you use Dark Black Outrage, and then you use your Unova Passion. Oh, by the way, when you use the first Outrage, you can have 2 physical move up next effect. And then you use the Unova Passion, you're going to get another physical move effect. And then you sync. If you can sync with Haxorus, you can sync with somebody else, but whoever you sync with, then you go ahead and you go to the challenge again. Keep in mind, after you sync, you will get a physical up next from a passive up here. And then you're going to use Glory of the Challenge to get another physical up next effect. And then keep in mind, you have the Unova Passion physical up next effect from the last time you used it before the sync move. And so now when you use Dark Black Outrage, it's going to be free and it's going to do a lot of damage. It's going to take advantage of 3 physical up next effect if that's all you have, right? If you're using Haxorus by himself and you can't raise it any other way. And then you can go ahead and use Unova Passion again before your next sync move, right? That's kind of the vision I have with him. Now, what I was talking about earlier is the roll effect. I'm not sure if he's going to have a Dragon Zone or he summons the Unova Circle physical. I'm not exactly sure because he is a field unit if you EX him. So if you give him an EX roll or a cake roll, he gets the field effect. But I'm not sure exactly which one it is. I'm not sure if it gives Dragon Zone. Dragon Zone would be super insane if it gives Dragon Zone, because Dragon Zone Dragon Zone will stack with Unova Passion, making Nate a very strong dragon type striker. But if it summons Unova Passion or Unova Circle, then it's less good. So I'm not exactly sure what this summons. I think when we see him in game, when people use him in game, we'll figure that out. But right now, I'm not sure, and I'm not exactly sure where to look it up. I'm sure there is information online about it. But keep in mind that it's going to be really good if it's Dragon Zone, because having him summon his own Dragon Zone, and then now this Dark Black Outrage is going to do even more damage, because think about everything you're taking advantage of that I've already mentioned, right? On top of the Dragon Zone. We have, for his sync grid, you can have, I don't know, you can do a scale shot build by raising scale shot accuracy. You can also make it boost a physical up next effect. Increase the user when any of the stats are lowered. So if you lower your own defense, you can raise your physical move up next effect. I think that only triggers once. Does it trigger once, or does it trigger as many times the scale shot hits? If it triggers as many times a scale shot hits, that might be interesting, because potentially you can raise it by 5. Especially if you have no quarter on, which scale shot will hit 5 times. So I'm not sure. Again, another thing I'm not sure. I don't know if it triggers once or it triggers depending on how much scale shot hits. So we could see some Omega busted combos with this, I think. But again, it's a bit strange because I don't know exactly how the character works. Punishing Strike is also pretty nice here, because you can lower target's defense. And if you have a multi-strike tag, it lowers it more, so you can lower your opponent's defense here. Also, keep in mind, another good tile is power up your user's move when Unova Circle physical is applied on play. Keep in mind that your Outrage is going to be your strongest source of damage, simply because you're going to be taking advantage of those physical up next effects. And so this is super good to have for extra damage. It's at 2 copies too. So at 2/5, you can get this, which is really good. Other good tiles is Impervious is nice. Are you afraid of your scale shot lowering your defense? Well, how about it doesn't lower your defense? Hey, that could work. Also, Unova or whatever this is powers up sync move when Unova Circle physical is applied. So there you go. You can increase your sync move by that as well. Oh, I totally passed over Haymaker. So yeah, your attack is always going to be 6 after you use a trainer move. And so Haymaker is going to make your sync move do a lot of damage. This Unova Circle Physical sync move 9 is going to make your sync move do even more damage. Well, however, you think we're done making sync moves do more damage? I thought there was another passive that made your sync move do more damage. I could have swore. Oh, here we go. Speedster 5. You only need 2 out of 5 copies of Nate. And then you get, the more your speed is raised, keep in mind you will be raising your speed if you use Scale Shot or Glory of the Challenge. Now your speed is going to increase your sync move damage. So now not only do you have Unova, right? You have the Unova circle. If you have him at the roll, if you unlocked his EX roll and he does field and he summons Dragon Zone, I'm not sure if that's the case, but if he does, you do extra damage from that. You're going to do extra damage from Haymaker. You're going to do extra damage from Speedster Sync 5. And you're going to do extra damage from this tile. So you're seeing Nate is going to be doing tons of damage. I know I talked a lot about Nate just because he's a super interesting character. But yeah, does he compete? Because his main competition right now is Signal Suit Serena, who is also a Dragon Master Master Sync pair. I think he potentially might do more damage than her, and he also does support with the Unova Passion. Because again, I think this buffs everyone, so it's super interesting sync pair. And honestly, you might even use him alongside. I mean, if you remove Luca, because Luca is kind of the Dragon Zone setter right now. If you remove Luca and you use Nate, because Nate works really well alongside any unit, because his moves are fairly cheap, right? I mean, you see in the vision, I think he's super strong. We'll get back to him at the end of the video. I'll talk about a little bit, right? But let's go on to Neo Champion Rosa. Again, the name is Serebii. Sometimes they update stuff in Pokemon Masters and it's all weird. But anyways, yes. We have Rosa. She is going to be support, and then her EX roll is sprint. That's really good. So because she has support, you always want to sync with her. But if you sync with her, you also get the sprint effect, which makes it so that your next sync move comes out earlier, which is super strong. So this is actually a case in where sprint is really good, because you'd always want to sprint with a support sync pair so you can get that double sync move buff. You know what I'm saying? Rosa is going to have Meloetta, and if you know Meloetta actually has 2 forms, and this Pokemon will be actually taking advantage of both forms, which is super interesting, right? So we have passive skills. Unova Flag Bearer, alright, so this is like your normal master passive. It raises all attack, it reduces all damage you take, not to the same degree as the focus on physical and the focus on special for certain sync pairs, but you know, it's pretty good anyways. And then we have Relic Nostalgia. So switch from Arya form, and I'm just gonna say this is Arya form, this is green, and then this is a word I can't pronounce, brown. Alright, so we got green form and brown form. So you switch between green and brown form every time you use a move that has the word Relic Song. So essentially, Relic Song of Wonder and the sync move, which is there's a fighting sync move and then there's a psychic sync move depending on what form you are. If you're on green form, then it does the psychic sync move. If you're on brown, it does the fighting sync move. Right? Green psychic, I think I said that right. So you switch between every time you use this move or the sync move, right? And then also it increases your physical move up next and special move up next every time you switch forms. So basically, if you use this move, the Relic Song of Wonder, every turn, then you're always going to be giving your whole team physical up next and special up next. And again, think about the last unit we just talked about. Nate, he will definitely benefit from that because his outrage is going to do even more damage. And then you think of units like Neo Champion Red, take advantage of that. A lot of units would take advantage of that really well. Psychic Performance, normal moves and sync move become psychic, raises special defense by 1 when move is successful, right? And so, because the reason why that's important is because Relic Song of Wonder is normal move, and so it's going to be converted to psychic. That being said, though, if you have brown form, again, I haven't gone to Relic Song of Wonder yet, but if you use Relic Song of Wonder, you're going to turn into brown form, And then now your normal moves become fighting moves, and your sync move becomes fighting. And then also you raise your defense every time a move targeting opponent is successful. All right, so you're at green form when you summon, or when you first enter a battle, and then use Relic Song of Wonder. You turn to brown form, and then you also get a special defense up. Just this unit, by the way. You get the special defense up, and then it changes the move to fighting, and then you use the Relic Song of Wonder again. Now it's fighting, and then you switch back to green form, but you'll raise your defense, and then you got the green form again. You see how it like cycles like that? Again, it's a super interesting unit. It's very, it might be confusing. I mean, I get it, but I don't know if I'm explaining it well enough that you get it. Hopefully, it is easy to understand how I explained it. So yeah, it kind of switches like that. It's super interesting. And then Enchanting Memory lowers Psychic rebuff by 1 if you use green form and use a move, and you lower Fighting rebuff by 1 if you use a move while you're at brown form. So yeah, you basically can lower Psychic and physical and fighting, Psychic and fighting type rebuff, so you're gonna do more damage if you're using Psychic moves and fighting moves. So yeah, your Mellow Weather will be doing more damage when you use the Relic Song of Wonder. Also, look at these stats. Wow, look at these defense. 370 special defense, 367 defense. That's super high defense for a unit. And 800 HP to boot. So this unit is very well statted for a defensive unit. So let's read Relic Song of Wonder, because this is what you're going to be using to switch between green form and brown form, which also, keep in mind, gives the physical up next effect and special up next effect to all your units, and it also raises Mellow Weather's defense and special defense, and it also lowers Psychic rebuff and fighting rebuff. So this move already passive-wise does a lot. But let's read what it actually does. Relic Song of Wonder, it does 100 damage. It hits all opponents, which is nice. So it's going to do it's going to do pretty decent chip damage. Mellow Weather doesn't have the strongest special attack. Keep that in mind. But I mean, 300, it might do something, right? Cost 2. Again, as a support unit, having a move that you want to use a lot that costs 2, that's a bit expensive. So I am worried about move gauge economy when it comes to this unit. But the activation condition is when the user's not in a pinch. It's very interesting, because in a pinch means that it has, like, I think around 30% or less health, like 1/3 of his health or less. I think that's what it means to be in a pinch. So interestingly enough, you might be stuck in green form or brown form if you don't have that much health left. However, keep in mind that this does mean that you will be able to use this move right off the bat. Like, you summon Mellow Weather, boom, you can start Relic Song of Wonder, and then you get all these goodies from the passes on top of what this move does, which is has a 30% chance of putting target to sleep. Hey, all right, we got a sleeper. We got not a sleeper unit, but we have someone who causes sleep. Raises crit of all action by 1. All right, so we can stop there for a little bit. If you use this move 3 times, you're going to be fully raising the crit of your party. Hey, that's not bad. 3 moves is before the first sync move, so you can raise your crit with just this unit. That's super nice. And then here, raises one of the following stats of all your ally sync pairs by 2 at random. So you can raise your stat. You can raise everyone's attack by 2, defense by 2, special attack by 2, special defense, speed, accuracy, evasiveness. So there's a lot of stats that this can raise by 2, and it's the same stat for all for all units. That's really fun, but it's not exactly good or consistent. If you want Mellow Weather to be buffing your team's attack or special attack, yeah, you might want to use another unit, because it's super inconsistent of what you're going to be raising. So you might as well not have this as a buffer. Mellow Weather is definitely not a buffer, or I should say a stat buffer. She does raise the crit rate, which is nice. Fully raised crit rate, actually. So yeah, just think of this move as something that can sleep, something that can raise crit. The stat bonus is definitely nice. Evasiveness is always nice. Speed is always nice. Defense and special defense is always nice. The other ones, in my opinion, accuracy, special attack, and normal attack aren't the greatest with this unit. Simply because, again, you will be raising your attack and special attack another way. The unit also has potion and then sing. So if you're in green form, it has sing. But if you're in brown form, you get teeter dance. So this Pokemon can sleep and confuse. Now the sleep is from, or I should say, the sleep from sing it's 45% accuracy. It's kind of garbage. It's really garbage. Why not just use Relic Song of Wonder? I mean, you're going to use one more move gauge and you have a 30% chance of sleeping, so it's a lot less. It's a lot less than 45, granted. However, it hits everybody, so you know what I mean? Like, you hit everybody, so you're going to be sleeping everybody. And then there is also, I'm going to mention this right now, Go Viral 9. When the user stat move is used in inflict status, inflict the same condition to all opponents. Which means, I believe, I could be wrong here. Again, it's not something that I know exact. I would have to test it, right? But there's a 30% chance on 3 targets. If you hit one of them, if one of them goes to sleep and you have go viral, I think it hits all of them. And so now it's basically like the chances of having your opponent go to sleep has just risen drastically, because now it's not a 30% chance, it's more of a 30% chance times 3. You basically have 3 rolls instead of just 1 roll on every character, because if you hit, you know what I mean, right? If one goes to sleep but the other 2 don't, well, the other 2 are going to go to sleep anyways by go viral 9. Does that make sense? Is that how it works? That might not actually be how it works, but I'm going to say that's how it works. So anyways, Sing is not good. However, Relic Song of Wonder, that's, I think, where you're going to get most of your sleep. But you could still use Sing. Again, it costs 1, so technically it is cheaper. Technically, it is more accurate. Maybe you're in Legendary Arena. You only have 1 target anyway, so Sing might be better if you want to go with Sing there. Tear Dance, on the other hand, costs 2, 100% accuracy. It does confuse, so that's super nice. Keep in mind that, again, both of these are only 1 opponent. Confuse is interesting. It doesn't really do much, but hey, you have it there if you want to use it. Now I have Ode to Glory. Ode to Glory is pretty interesting. It raises the speed of all your ally bursts by 2, which basically it has a pretty good opportunity of raising speed to max of all your characters, as long as Relic Song of Wonder hits speed at 1 time. So Ode to Glory, raise speed. You can use this twice, by the way, so you can raise speed twice. And it increases special move by 2 when you're in green form, and it raises physical move by 2 if you're in brown form. So that's pretty good. So if you want to target, if you want a certain, if you want to raise your physical up next effect or special up next effect by a lot and target it, you can do that by Ode to Glory. Because Relic Song of Wonder, while it does do damage, it can't put to sleep, it does raise crit. It also raises physical and special up 1. Ode to Glory raises one of them by 2. So you're basically, it's basically a little bit better if you want to target what you want to raise. And also you'll be raising speed. Raising speed is going to be super important because as a support character that's going to be using move gauges with your Relic Song of Wonder, it is pretty good to have extra move gauge from the speed. And then the sync move, we got psychic. Sync move, we got fighting. There's not really much to talk about there. And yeah, basically that's how the character works. It's a really interesting character. I think the vision is, I think when you first summon this unit, you probably want to use Ode to Glory just so you can raise your speed a little bit. If you have really good move gauge with that team, or you're not in Champion Stadium essentially, you can go ahead and just continually slap Relic Song of Wonder. What this would do is, really good chance of sleeping. You raise your crit by 3 turns, and you can raise all these stats by 2, which is pretty interesting. And keep in mind that your Relic Song or Relic Nostalgia, you're going to be raising physical and special move up next effect. You're also going to be applying 1 psychic rebuff and 1 fighting type rebuff on the opponent. So you'll do more psychic and fighting damage. So this character can essentially be used as a good support unit for any fighting or psychic team. And then also, you will also be raising Merueta's own defense and special defense from another passive, the psychic performance and fighting performance. So there's a lot going on here, like a lot going on here. And it just, I can see this unit being just a really good general support unit. Again, you do have potions too, keep in mind. So like if you're in a pinch and you can't use Relic Song of Wonder, well, start potioning your guys, For the sync grid, we have Team Sharp Entry 1. I think is interesting. You can raise your crit of all your ally sync by 2 turns. I don't think it's that good, but it's interesting if you really need that crit rate up immediately. We also have Team Stoic 9, which raises a defense of all your ally sync pairs after you use a move. We also have Force Field 9 to raise special defense. So you really want her to specialize in a defense, you can go ahead and go with that. Super nice. We also have Curative Confusion 1, restores user HP when you use a move against a confused opponent. So now you have a little bit of self-healing, right? That's super nice if you confuse your opponent. So you're going to have to change it to brown form and then confuse your opponent and then go ahead and use a force field again. So it takes a bit of time to set up the healing, but you could get healing. Easy Pickings lowers one of these stats after you use a move that's successful against a confused opponent. Keep in mind that status move used to inflict status condition, I don't think this works because confusion is not a status condition, it's a status, what's it called? It's there's a status condition and status change, I think. So I think confusion is status change. And so to be able to do easy picking, you can do easy pick on one opponent, but to do easy picking on 3 opponents, because keep in mind your relic song will hit all opponents, you're going to need to confuse all 3 targets. And so yeah, I don't see this being too good because you're only going to be lowering stat of 1 opponent for the most part, which to lower stat of 1 opponent, you're going to need setup anyways to confuse them. So I don't think this is really good. But it's there. You can also go to potion build, Friend Men 9, which cures stats conditions, and then Master Healing and MP Refresh. Pretty good. We also have some Sing accuracy ups, so if you want more accuracy on your Sing, there you go. You can also, Ode to Glory can also raise accuracy by 1 if you have this tile up. Keep in mind that you have Ode to Glory 2 times if you don't have any MP refreshes. And so you'll be raising all your accuracy of all your teammates by 2, which is nice. You also have increased physical and special move up after use a trainer move. This can only activate once per battle. I think this is pretty garbage. I think you might as well just use Relic Song to get this effect. I don't think one increase in this effect is worth 10 energy out of your 60. And then Go Viral. Again, I think Go Viral is really good if you really want to go with consistent sleeping. Because I'm pretty sure Go Viral works with Relic Song of Wonder. Again, I could be wrong here, but if it does, I think Relic Song of Wonder is very consistent when it comes to sleeping. But if going viral doesn't work with Wonder Song, it's still decent with sleep if that's what you want to go for. Anyways, I think Rosa has a lot going for her. I think you really want this unit if you want a general support unit, because again, she is competing with some of the best. She's competing with Neo Champion Caleb, Neo Champion Bayday, competing with Neo Champion Blue, Signa Suit Chris. So she's competing with a lot of characters, but she does raise physical up next and special up next pretty consistently, and she also applies rebuff, which I think is kind of sleeper. So yeah, sleeper, no pun intended, although I kind of used that term already. Yeah, and she goes to sleep, and she makes the opponent go to sleep. So I think she's a very interesting unit. And I think she's really good as well. Next unit is, I think, Winter 2023 Viola. Very interesting. She's field. Okay, so field, again, I don't really like field units. I think field units are kind of garbage. And her EX role is tech, which isn't really that interesting, to be honest. That being said, though, she has Bug Wish. Bug Wish is super good because we don't actually have that many good bug types in this game. And Bug Wish is already... We do have Bug Wish on one of the Train brothers. But having more Bug Wish is fine. Also, field effect, that means when you Sing move with her, you'll be summoning a Bug Zone, which lasts a long time. And before she unleashes her Sync move. So her Sync move is going to do pretty decent damage because it gets benefited from the Bug Wish from her Sync move, from her field roll, right? I do not know if this is the only passive she has. I feel like she might have more passives than this, but because this is Serebii.com and they sometimes write stuff in wrong, sometimes unfinished, I know there's a lot of content to put in, so great work from the people at Serebii.com. Nothing against them. It's just that, yeah, sometimes they don't have all the stuff. But I mean, hey, whatever, So one of the passives, this might actually be the only passive, I'm not sure, but it lowers the target's falling stat by 2 at random when moves successful against a target that is affected with a stats condition. So you're going to need to hit them with a stats condition first, and then after you hit them with a stats condition, after you use a move, it will lower any of these stats by 2. Attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed, accuracy, and evasiveness. Essentially what Relic Song can buff with Meloetta, right? As a tech unit, or as a field unit, special attack is really high. That's what you like to see with units like these. Speed is pretty high. HP is also pretty high for a non-support unit. So, hey, we like to see it. Defense is actually not bad, too. So, it's a really decently statted unit. Normally, tech units are decently statted. So, it's nice to see tech units, field units, and, sprint units having really good stats. But her passive relies on you hitting a stats condition. So how do you hit a stats condition? Well, you use Frozen Butterfly Stun Zone. All right. So this activates when you're in Bug Zone. So you might want to use Bug Wish first, and then you can activate this. Max Move 1 hits all opponents, which is super nice. It leaves the target paralyzed. Again, this hits everybody, so everyone's paralyzed. Leaves the target confused. All right, everyone's confused. Lowers attack, defense, special defense, speed, accuracy, and evasiveness by 1. Again, this effect, it looks fun, but in my opinion, it's not that good. I mean, you're gonna really be... the passive and the secondary effect of her buddy move, it's nice, potentially lowering defense, potentially lowering their attack, potentially lowering their accuracy, lowering their evasiveness doesn't really matter. But it's nice, but it's inconsistent. That's why it's kind of meh. But hey, being able to paralyze and confuse, if this was a normal Pokemon game, this would be extremely powerful. But it's Pokemon Masters, so paralysis and confusion isn't that good, especially since a lot of Pokemon, or a lot of opponent Pokemon, has resistance to paralysis and confusion. But hey, it's nice to get them paralyzed and confused, because with the paralysis, again, you're triggering your passive, and hey, they might hit themselves with confusion. Getting in focus is a trainer move, raises special attack and crit by 2 on one ally. So basically, this move, if you use it twice, you can fully raise crit, which is interesting. You can do that. Also has Struggle Bug, which I think normal Viola also had, lowers the target special attack. Hits everybody though. So, that's the vision, right? That's the vision. You paralyze your opponent with if you ignore the trainer move, what you can do is Bug Wish. So you summon Bug Zone. Use the Frozen Butterfly Sunspore, which paralyze everybody. So now that your passive is triggered. Now use Struggle Bug, alright, which hits all the targets. So you're going to be lowering a lot of stats. Again, you've already lowered a bunch of stats by 1. Struggle Bug is going to lower everyone's special attack by 1. And now you get the passive, which lowers everyone's stat by 1. Or everyone's stat by 2, again, but it's random though, right? So the vision is you're going to be lowering a lot of stats. Mainly you're going to be focused on the special attack, but you could lower everything else, which is very interesting. And it hits all targets too, keep in mind. So you will be lowering everyone's stats. Wow, it's insane, right? It's pretty good. I think it can lower a lot of stats. One of these effects by itself isn't good, but if you stack it, hey, that could have some impact, right? Again, here, Serebii.com is kind of being weird. The EX sync effect is not powered 1x5. We are actually having a field unit, so it should summon Bug Zone. Unless this is wrong. This could be wrong on Serebii.com's part. I'm assuming it's not wrong. I'm assuming this normally is a field sync pair, because this seems like a field sync pair. Because usually field sync pairs have moves like these, where single target buff moves. So for sync move, you can also power up your moves if the opponent is paralyzed. This is not really good because Struggle Bug doesn't really do that much damage to begin with. Soften Up is nice. Critical hits land more often when you use sync move. That makes this Pokemon, a decent syncer, because again, you're going to be summoning that Bug Zone, I think. And then you're going to be doing decent damage. We also have, some buffs. Insect Power powers up the user's movement in Bug Zone. Again, that's your Struggle Bug, so it's not going to do that much damage. You're going to restore your HP when you're in Bug Zone. That's nice. We also have Bug Wish MP Refresh. That's always nice to see. So you can have a lot of opportunity to summon Bug Zone. Paralysis Synergy. You can raise your move against paralyzed targets. Keep in mind, you're using Struggle Bug. You're not going to be doing that much damage to begin with. Shocking Showdown 9. Lower speed by 1 if you use an attack that's successful against a paralyzed opponent. Alright, so now you can consistently lower speed, you can consistently lower special attack, and you can be lowering a bunch of other stats too, so that's nice. Static Shock 9 powers up the user's sync move when it's paralyzed. Now see, this is actually usable because your sync move is actually going to do a lot of damage because of the Bug Zone, because the sync move just has high multipliers to begin with, or high power to begin with, I should say. So this actually might be impactful, and you might want to sync with this unit so you can summon that Bug Zone. Stop hitting yourself. 9, fun to increase your opponent's chance of hitting themselves with confusion. You can also use your sync move to leave target paralyzed, which that's kind of weird. Power play, the more target speed is lower, the more your sync move increases. So there you go. You have the paralysis synergy. You have the power play. You have the bug zone. Hey, that sync move might do a lot of damage now, eh? And then also Grand Entry 2. Raise your special attack by 2 when it enters battle. So if you have Grand Entry 2 with getting in focus and you target the getting in focus onto the pavilion, now you can fully raise your attack and crit. Hey, that's pretty interesting. Use it twice, raise your attack and crit, and then you use this spore, and then you use your first sync move, and then you struggle a bunch of times after that first sync move to lower your opponent's opponent's stats, and then you use your second sync move with this character, and now you're going to be hitting the big damage. Again, I don't know exactly if you can activate all power play, grand entry, and paralysis synergy. I don't know if you can activate all of them at once, because that does cost a lot, and again, I don't have the sync move up, so I can't really see if I can activate all that. But if you could, I'm seeing big potential. And again, bug zone, and this character move only costs 2, so I mean, this is definitely, could be your sub DPS, even your main DPS. So there you go. Holiday Viola is interesting. Now we got winter 2023 Sycamore. He's gonna be support with the EX roll of Strike. Basically, his EX roll is useless. You never want to strike as a support. I think support and strike is just a terrible combo. It's a terrible combo. But anyways, or I should say, it's a terrible combo if it's this order. If it's strike, but the EX roll is support, all right, now we're talking. Now we're getting into the Signa Suit Serena territory, which is good, right? Or we're getting into Mega Evolution territory, which is really good. But this order is pretty garbage. This order is really garbage. I digress. Sycamore, he is Go-Goat, Grass. Now look at this. Grass type research results. So after you use a move that's successful, or attack move that's successful, you lower the target's grass rebuff, but you raise your own grass rebuff? What? I think this might be the first unit that does this that I can remember at least. So basically, what grass rebuff does on your opponent, if you lower it, it does less damage. Or I'm sorry, yeah, you do more damage against your opponent. But if your own rebuff is increased, so does that mean you take less grass damage? I think so. However, we also have Group Grass Guard. So it reduces the amount of damage you take from grass moves. So not only do you get rebuff, but you also get the guard, the Group Grass Guard. So grass is like barely gonna hit you. Grass is gonna do no damage against you from the rebuff and from the Group Grass Guard. And then Go-Go can also restore a little bit of HP every time its attack move is successful, which is super good. 100% chance of increase or of healing yourself. That doesn't need to be refreshed, because healing, a lot of the healing condition, every time you use attack, it heals. That condition wears out. So having something like this where it never wears out is better than that passive, and it stacks with that stats condition where you can heal yourself when you get hit, right? I mean, the HP is a little bit more than Rosa, but the defenses are a little bit less. That's fine. Still really good defenses, nevertheless. Razor Leaf, kind of useless. Potion, that's kind of good. Again, more healing, more defensive options. Dire Hit, all plus. All right, now we're talking. We can fully raise our crits, which is nice. Razor Leaf also crits more easily. So technically, if you use Dire Hit all once, and Razor Leaf will always crit. I don't know if that's really relevant, but there you go. Let's all have a battle. Raise your defense and special defense by 4. Do you know what else does that? Anniversary Cynthia. So, hey, is Sycamore as good as Cynthia? Yep, apparently so. And also raise the speed of all your allies by 2, which is super nice, because again, you increasing that move gauge. And indeed, so this character is a really defensive, healing, self-healing with the passive, but also team healing with the potions. Raising defense, raising crit. Hey, crit is super nice too, so it can be used as a buffer. And for sync grid tiles, again, you can do a potion build with the potion Master Heal 1, make your potions more potent. Razor Leaf accuracy 5, just in case you don't want to miss your Razor Leaf. There you go. You have grassy terrain synergy, okay. Dashing team 5, 60% chance of raising speed after your move is successful. Hey, you could fully raise your speed by using a few Razor Leafs. And again, the trainer move does raise it by 2 to begin with. So that's pretty nice to raise your speed. Also, we have a debut. Grass rebuff 1 raises the user's grass rebuff by 1 first time enters battle. So now you have 2 stacks of grass rebuff increase, which means you take a lot less damage from grass moves. Hey, why not? At 3 copies though, so you're going to need to invest. You can also do Revenge Boost 9, raises move gauge when hit by move. There you go, you can raise your move gauge a lot. Your Razor Leaf is pretty expensive, so. You can also have your Razor Leaf 60% chance of leaving the opponent confused. Okay, sure, why not? Razor Leaf move gauge refresh, I think that's actually pretty good. Especially on this unit. We have Grass Guard, so the user takes less grass damage. Alright, so you got 2 passes which reduces the amount of grass move you take from the whole team. You have another passive which applies another rebuff to the user. This is the user too. So yes, your whole team is going to, from Sycamore's passes, the whole team is going to resist grass moves. But Sycamore himself can further reduce grass moves by having this tile as well as this Grass Guard sync move tile or sync grid tile. So he has 4 instances of ways to reduce grass moves. That is very interesting and also worries me. Like, hey, why would we need this? What are we finding that we need this? Tapu Bulu on crack? Like, what's going on here? Opening Blockade is super nice. You can raise your physical damage reduction effect and the special damage reduction effect on field every time once you enter. That could be good. You can also team sync regen, apply gradual healing. That's the word I was looking for. Gradual healing effect on all your sync pairs or all your sync pairs after you use a sync move. That could be pretty good. Extra healing on all your characters. Endurance is always super nice too. And then also using your trainer move, you can apply the crit hit defense field effect. So that's nice too. I mean, again, a few characters actually have this, so having this is super nice. Indeed. I think that is it for Professor Sycamore. I think he's a super defensive unit. And yeah, if you're going up against Pokemon that's using a lot of grass moves, slap Sycamore, GG no re. I mean, just go next. Use Sycamore against a character or an opponent that has a lot of grass moves. It's just a free win. The last sync pair is going to be Eternal Launch Jasmine. She's not really interesting. She's support. She has endurance, which is nice, and recuperation. If you want to sync with her, you can heal herself. But endurance is nice. That means she can take at least 2 hits. Look at these defense. She has like 100 less special defense than what's her name, Rosa. And she has like 80 less defense, normal defense than Rosa, and like 80 less HP. So yeah, you can see how overtuned Rosa is in terms of defensive capabilities. But keep in mind that Jasmine is free. She can Screech, which lowers defense. She can Thundershock, which can paralyze. And she has a Heart of Steel, which raises defense, special defense, and accuracy, which is nice. Being able to raise accuracy is still something that's, low-key pretty good if your characters need it. And it also applies the gradual healing effect on the user. Not everybody, just the user. If this was everybody, she would be insane. I think another character that I thought was really good was what's her name? Argenta. I think she does this to everybody, which is why I rate her pretty highly. But this character can only do herself. But hey, you can raise special defense and defense of all your Alex sync pairs. When it comes to her tiles, I mean, Hostile Environment 9 or Hostile Environment 4, so increased likelihood of paralyzing with Thundershock. Shocking Showdown 9 lowers speed after you do move against an opponent that's paralyzed. I mean, hey, that's okay, lower speed. Also some Steel Zone stuff. Interesting. Team Sharp Entry 1. So raise crit of all your allies by 1 when you enter battle. Hey, that's not bad. Interference Immunity, preventing flinching, confusion, and trap. That's pretty good, to be honest. And then raising defense. First time you use a status move, raising both defense. First time you use status move. Only happens once, so not that great. But hey, it's there. And I mean, Heart of Steel ramp up. All ramp up 1. So you can raise their special attack. After you use your trainer move, you can raise your special attack of all your Alex players by 1. However, keep in mind, there is no Heart of Steel move point refresh. Like, am I crazy? I don't think there is a move point refresh for Heart of Steel. So yeah, you can't use it more than 2 times. I looked, there was something I looked and I couldn't find it. So Heart of Steel, you can actually only use it twice. I mean, I don't remember the last character that had something like this where you can only use your trainer move twice. There's no refresh in their sync grid. So, or I should, yeah, there's no move point refresh, I should say. There is move gauge refresh, but that's a bit different, right? So yeah, you can only do defense, special defense, accuracy, and I guess special attack twice, which isn't really good, but hey, it's there. I mean, again, Jasmine is a free unit. It's a free support unit too. Free support units are a lot better in my opinion than free strikers or free tech units. But there you go. That is the Datamine. I can't believe I probably talked a lot in this video, even though it's not supposed to be that long. I said it was shorter, but Nate and Rosa, I think, are two super interesting characters. Nate, okay, just final thoughts. I think Nate's super strong. I think he potentially might be stronger than Signature Serena, which I like to see because it's our boy Nate. Nate deserves it. Nate's the last main character to get an ult. He was the last Unova main character to come out. Okay, it's fine. He deserves it. I'm still confused on his role, his field role, but I think he can do a lot of damage. I think while he doesn't really have a strong normal move, he has a strong buddy move that can get buffed in, like, you know, there's like so many ways you can buff it. You know, just like there's so many ways you can buff it. And like all of this just buffs it. So yeah, it's really good. And I think the Unova Passion is going to be very interesting. I wonder if people will use him just as a normal buffer. Like literally not even like on a Dragon team or on a Unova team, but just as like a character by itself, like a normal support character. Because on a Unova team, yeah, I think he would really be good with, for example, this would really benefit both this Unova Circle as well as Unova Pride. Really benefits characters like Cygnus Suit, Hilda. Your V crates will just do massive physical damage, right? So I think Nate Hacker is really good. Probably put him, what's the rating? S. I think he's S tier. I don't think he's like the best unit in the game. I don't think he sits on that pedestal yet, but I think he's really good. I think he's gonna be strong. I think he's on the same level, or actually he's probably a little bit higher than Cygnus Serena. But again, I don't even put Cygnus Serena at the highest level of the game. I think that's reserved for like Ashe and Neo Champion Blue. Rosa, I think is gonna be interesting. I'm probably not gonna roll for Nate. I have Nate up a lot, but I really don't need him because I already have Cygnus Serena, as well as I'm not really interested in Nate's character or his Pokemon, or I'm not really interested in Unova Passion, to be honest, even though I like to use a lot of Unova sync pairs. My favorite team is actually 3 Unovan characters, but they're not Nate, so unlucky Nate. I'm probably not gonna roll for him. Rosa Neo Champion, I think is really interesting. She doesn't have that much self-healing. I mean, I know she has potions, but she doesn't really have that good of self-healing. She also doesn't consistently buff attack and special attack. She also doesn't create a zone, like, for example, Chris, or what's the other character that creates a zone? Calum, right? So there's a lot of characters in her category that does a lot, right? Like if you want a really good buffer, you're going with like Blue, or you're going with Bayday. If you want a zone setter, you're going with like Chris, or you're going with Calum, right? But this character is very interesting when it comes to the special move, up next effect, and the physical up next effect, and also applies rebuff. Like I can see myself using her as in my psychic team, or even in my fighting team, just because she's able to give the rebuff to your opponent, make it go down. And I think it's singing. Like the singing is interesting. If going viral and Relic Song Wonder works how I think it works, yeah, she is gonna cause a lot of people to sleep. So I think she's interesting. I might roll for her. I probably will roll for her. But I'm kind of still on the fence because I think she's a really interesting and not the greatest of units. Like I don't think she's as good as Neo Champion Blue, but I think she does compete with the other characters. And I think Meruwa is a pretty cool character. Meloetta. Man, this should have been the Vocaloid person with Meloetta. That should have been a collab. Okay. Viola, I'm not gonna roll for her. I think Bug Zone is super good, and I'd greatly benefit from Bug Zone. I don't know about you, but for me, this would be a very good unit to pull for. That being said, though, I can always off type. I can always off type when it comes to bug weakness. Surely, if it's Champion Stadium, again, I'm looking at the lens of Champion Stadium when it comes to all these units, because that's most of the content I do is Champion Stadium. But yeah, I think this unit's good. If you need a Bug Zone setter, she's pretty good. So yeah, I like Viola. I think she's good for a field unit. You know, I rate her, especially since her niches is pretty hard to fulfill. Yeah, but yeah, as a field setter, she has Bug Wish. That's all you can ask for. Because a lot of field characters don't even have zones that they can set. Professor Sycamore, I think is an interesting character. I think he's a super tanky character. Yeah, if there's an opponent that uses grass moves, you slap Sycamore and you're just gonna be tanking like a boss. I think Sycamore is super good under certain situations. But nevertheless, he can fully raise crit rate. He can heal, can raise your defense. He does raise speed, especially if you have this sync tile, which is only at 2 copies, so that's very doable. So yeah, I think it's okay. Oh, I guess I should rate. I put Rosa S tier. I put Viola because she is Bug Zone. I put her A. And also, I probably put Professor Sycamore's A too. Maybe B if it's not against Grass Pokemon, but against Grass Pokemon, maybe S. Yeah, he's okay, but yeah, I'll say B if it's not against Grass Pokemon, but like S if he's against Grass Pokemon. Jasmine, garbage. You can just gotten like C tier, but like, hey, usable is free. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I'll probably be skipping for most of these characters. Rosa, I probably will roll for day 1, but hey, if I have enough power in myself to wait, I will definitely want to wait for the January, or I guess the late December 2023 Datamine. But anyways, that's it. Again, Datamine videos, mostly this is for fun, theory crafting. I could totally be wrong about a bunch of things. I probably am wrong about a bunch of things. But those are just my thoughts. And indeed, it's a cool month though. I think it's a cool month. Nate and Rosa are really cool. And I think the other characters, hey, if you're waiting for a Viola, Sycamore, or Nate alt, this is your month. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. You're beautiful the way you are. And I'll catch you in another Pokemon Master Datamine analysis video. Hopefully next time it'll be a banger. So there.